Welcome to Pride Against Prejudice, a Shadowrun 4th edition actual play podcast.
Hi, I'm Michael and I'll be playing Sunshine.
Hello, my name is Rosie and I'll be playing the Dweller on the Threshold.
And my name is Rydian, I am the GM. If you would like any bonus content, a link to our living campaign map can be found in the show notes, along with a link to our Discord where you can get occasional bonus episodes, and if you'd like to add locations to the map or just ask us questions, you're welcome to join us there.
Hi folks. While we do always let you know at the start of each episode that our content isn't suitable for all audiences, this episode is going to explore themes of both consensual and coercive sex work. No sexual acts are depicted within this episode. There are also discussions of abusive families. Our lovely team recorded a post-episode interview featuring the GM and the two players involved about why we covered these topics and how we approached it. If you are someone that has been affected by these issues, or you're not in the right headspace to hear about them, then, at your discretion, please feel free to skip this episode. Having said that, let's continue.
Sunshine's astral soul has been cast adrift from her body into the world between worlds, with no other option to get back before her body dies and she fades from existence. She must face the dweller upon the threshold and the mistakes of her past. Sunshine.
Hi.
You find yourself lying on your side, with your face half in and half out of the water as your eyes open. One of your eyes is beneath the water, the other out of it.
Oh, so like on my side.
Yeah. And you sit up, you're in sort of 2-inch deep water. It's body temperature. Doesn't feel hot, doesn't feel cold. And it's absolutely, perfectly black around you. But you can see the water at your feet and underneath you. You can feel it when you put your hands through it, and you can feel the wet soaking into your clothes. You can see your hands. It feels like there's light, but this is such a vast space with nothing in it. And you try shouting, "Hello, is anybody there?" There's no echo. It's just absolutely dead. No sound bouncing back to you at all. And there's a pinprick of light in the distance.
Huh. Okay, so guess the light at the end of the tunnel's a real thing. Yeah, I'm trying to think back to like what the last couple of things I remember are. And it's like, yeah, I'm pretty sure that guy shot me. Okay, yeah, I'm dead. That's bummer. Okay, can I stand up?
Yeah.
Okay, and so I'm in like, I don't know, like mid-calf deep water then?
More ankle deep. And when you look down and you open up your... Is it an armoured jacket or anything like that?
It was... Give me 2 seconds. Yeah, basically it's sort of more like a leather jacket, but yeah.
You unzip your leather jacket a little bit, and you can see the bullet wound in your stomach. It doesn't seem to be bleeding. It doesn't hurt. It's just there. And you have a moment of morbid curiosity and put a finger into the wound and take it out. It doesn't hurt. And you're just there going, okay, weird.
Okay, so guess I bled out or something?
And the only thing you can see here, other than the water at your feet, is that prick of light in the distance.
There was a lot of things I needed to do before I left. Luna will take care of the cat.
Priorities.
Oh, she's gonna be sad. Like, Big sad. Okay, well, guess I've got places to be. And yeah, I start heading towards the light.
As you walk over there, it gets brighter much quicker than you'd anticipated, until you find yourself stood in front of what looks like... It looks a little bit like an archway, but it's not like anything you've ever seen before. It looks like it's made out of shattered mirror glass, and each shard of glass is hanging in the air, slowly turning. And as they turn, you can see little bits of places and people. Some of them you recognise, like one of them, just for half a second, you're going, is that my childhood bedroom? And stood in front of it is a strange figure, wearing what you can only really describe as a cloak, but the cloak is also made of mirror shards hanging in the air, turning slowly. And they again showing memories of people and places you've been before. And you finally catch a glimpse of what, for lack of a better word, you'd call its face, which is also made up of those broken mirror bits. They're all different bits of faces. So you think you recognise an eye and an ear as yours. The mouth is somebody else's. The nose, that looks like your granddad's. The eye, the other eye, is clearly from a black woman, and it reminds you of your best friend growing up. And it's just stood there, staring at you.
Sunshine's got an awful lot running through her mind at the moment. A lot of those shards are bringing back a lot of pretty unpleasant memories, and there's a lot of things running through her head, but she's really not sure how to start a conversation with this figure, because what the hell do you even say to the Grim Reaper? Hi?
Are you ready?
If this is for what I think it is, I don't think I get a choice in the matter.
Where do you think that you are?
Like... Limbo?
You are not wrong, and you are not right. You are on the edge of everything.
Okay. This, sort of, if I answer correctly, I go one way, if I answer wrong, I go another sort of deal?
There is only one path. There is only forward. You cannot go back, and you cannot progress any other way. You can only go past me.
Okay, so that sounds like I don't have any choices, so...
You have a choice. You can stay here and slowly fade from existence as a whole. Or you can move forward.
Move forward to what?
Move forward to the new state of you.
You're being very careful to not say that I'm dead.
You are correct, Ami Soto. You are not yet dead.
Who are you?
Names are an entirely human idea.
Okay then, what are you?
I am the gateway and the door. I am the watcher and the wait. I am the dweller upon the threshold.
Okay, that tells me not a lot.
Do you wish to continue?
You said I've got one choice. One is to stay here and bad things will happen to me. My other option is to go forward, so... Bit of a devil's choice, don't you think?
Bad things will happen wherever you are. The future is full of pain and sorrow, according to your judgments.
Okay. So, yeah. I know the world is not a nice place. My life so far has been not great. So, yeah, I don't need you to lecture me on how much this world hurts. Although,
Is that how you see it? Do you see it as not great?
oh May, I'm sinless in the sixth world. You tell me if the world is great or not.
That is not a question I am equipped to answer.
Yeah, of course not.
The decision may soon be taken away from you.
The decision to advance or not?
Yes, you are not a being with infinite time.
Okay then. Let's advance.
The being extends both of its arms out to the sides, and the cloak it's wearing rustles with a sound somewhere between a wind chime and the horrible crunching sound of broken glass. And the gesture seems to imply that you are to walk into the cloak.
Sunshine walks forward and just mutters under her breath. I'm having a very weird day, and I think I'm going to regret this.
There's a series of bright lights. Your senses are at once overstimulated and cut off. It's this strange feeling where if you've ever been in a heightened state of mind, you can see smells. Everything you're perceiving is coming through your eyes, but you remember that the sensations were meant to be from other areas. You can't hear, but you see what you think you should. And everything is blurring together like a kaleidoscope, and you're being rattled around in the barrel as it turns. And then snatches begin to run past that you are able to focus on. There's a bright light and a face that maybe you recognize, and then it's whipped away very quickly. The next one, maybe you see something that you remember from a nightmare, but again, it's gone all too quickly. And then, slowly but surely, you start to recognize a pattern. A glittering, shimmering, shining chandelier. You're looking up. You're standing, once again, in a building that maybe you had hoped you would never see again. Welcome back to your brothel.
Why am I here, Spirit? Do you not think I've spent enough of my life in here?
The dweller doesn't appear to be here. Everything is as you remember it. People coming and going, members of staff that you recognized. But now, something's different, something that maybe you can't quite put your finger on until you recognize the man behind the bar, and you remember he lost an eye in a bar fight. But it's back now. No, it's not back. It hasn't gone yet. The people dancing around you, this is not now. This is a memory, or the past. These people, they are how they used to be, back when you were brand new to this world.
I'm gonna go up to the barman and see if he can see me. I'm trying to figure out if I'm an outside observer right now, or if the other people in this memory can interact with me.
The man looks up and he flashes you a smile. And he goes, "Oh, hey, yeah, Sunshine, right? Yeah, you started here recently. Yeah, I think. Do you need a drink? You're good."
Yeah, no, a drink would be good. I guess just put it on my tab.
Yeah, don't careful with that one though. Yeah, what's your poison then?
Right now, something strong.
Oh, smart. You want to be careful, especially on your first few days. And he goes back behind the bar and starts mixing something together. He doesn't look overly concerned about you. But you remember that you knew this man quite well. It might be a little jarring to have him say that he doesn't know you, or that he's just become acquainted with you.
Yeah, this is... Sometimes she's trying to stay composed right now. But...
Let's find out how you're doing there.
Would that be make a composure roll?
It might well be, yeah.
Boy howdy, sure wish I had some edge left.
Yeah, with 3 hits, you're holding it together pretty well.
So, as the bartender hands this drink, which looks like it's very pretty but low on alcohol, and he says, "Just remember, if you need me, my name's Mike, all right? Easy to remember, okay?"
Sure thing, Mike. Thanks.
You know Mike. You remember him very well. You remember that he lost an eye trying to help people. He wasn't a bad sort.
Yeah. Mike. Just so he turns back to me.
Yeah?
You have really nice eyes.
He laughs and he shoots you a wink and says, "Hey, save lines like that for the rest, all right? Don't worry about it. You're going to be fine. Oh, look sharp. Guess old Bones is coming." And you hear a very, very familiar click of very expensive high-heeled shoes.
My turn. May, how are you?
You see a very well put together older Asian woman. She's wearing head to toe designer clothes, very tasteful, not flashy, but if you know what you're looking for, you know that she's very expensively dressed. She looks like she might have been painted. Everything is highly calculated, every movement, every facial expression. And right now, she's looking at you in the perfect pose of mildly concerned maternal figure. Something that you now know is always a calculated move, but maybe at the time you didn't. And she looks at you and smiles and says, "Ah, Sunshine. Remember, be careful throwing around names in this environment."
Of course. So sorry, Auntie. You'll have to forgive me. I'm still new here.
Come with me. We have a few things to discuss. She beckons with an absolutely perfectly manicured nail and clicks her way up the stairs and down the hall towards her office.
Sunshine tries and doesn't quite manage to suppress a shudder. Just smashes back her drink in a oneer and then follows Auntie May up to her office.
It's very well put together, just like the woman herself. The desk is perfectly organised. There are expertly chosen, tasteful pieces at well-calculated intervals throughout the room. There's a beautiful mirror hanging on the wall. It looks like it might actually be real gold. She sits down and she gestures for you to sit too. And as you do so, she opens up a very nice lacquer box. And inside, you recognise elegant cigarettes. Ones that might be specifically designed to help keep you calm.
How can I help you today, Auntie?
Well, always so amenable, Sunshine. Do take a cigarette.
I prefer not to smoke, Auntie.
Now come now, child. Trust Auntie. This will help you be nice and relaxed. There's nothing to be worried about.
Yes, Auntie.
And she also offers you a lighter. She holds it out for you. And it's, again, beautifully ornate, just like everything in here.
I've done this before. I know the drill. I take a drag. I try not to cough.
Excellent. Well done. Now, my dear. And she leans forward over the desk, again, hands steepled. Tell me, have you had any work done?
You mean cosmetically?
Yes, dear, cosmetically. Have you had any improvements?
Not really, Auntie.
While you are an incredibly beautiful girl, it is always best to start on the right foot. And she takes a small card from the side of her desk and hands it to Sunshine. And on it is everything is in gold, the lettering. It's got a number, and at the top it says Dr. Hyberian, expert plastic surgeon. Now, dear, there will come a time when improvements must be made. This doctor works very closely with our organization, and we want to make sure that all of our performers are only of the highest standard. If you do decide to have any work done, we can help you. Remember, highest standard.
Sunshine takes another long drag on the cigarette. Yes, Auntie.
Excellent. Now, for your shift today, we will expect you to go through at least 10 clients.
10 units, Auntie. Okay.
10 units. Any less, and there will be repercussions. While this is your first week, we must begin as we mean to go on. We don't want you having to work at a different location of ours. And you know the locations that she's talking about.
Sunshine takes another drag. No, Auntie.
Very good. In fact, today is a rather special day. We have a wonderful client in, a regular, you might say. Mr. Boniface. Sunshine, you remember Mr. Boniface. You remember who and what this man is. He is always treated with respect. He is always polite to the official members of this group, and he gets away with everything he wants. Now, Mr. Boniface is a man of particular taste, and I must say he was rather impressed with your first showing out on the floor on your first day. Rather mesmerized, one might say, and he made a particular request to see you this week. Now, as a man of particular tastes, you might be asked to do some things that you have mentioned previously. She fingers a piece of paperwork on the desk that you recognize you filled out before you started. It was a few general health questions, and in it there were things like acts that you were capable of doing, that you had done before, and there were some things that you had indicated that you did not feel capable of doing. And she taps one of them in particular, and she says, "Now, I know that you had conveyed to us that this was not an area you were experienced in, but, well, we must all pick up the slack in times of trouble."
Sunshine is crunching her eyes close at the moment, and yeah, that cigarette is disappearing extremely quickly, and she's reaching for another one.
And so Auntie May leans over and says, "Now, I understand that this work is one that you've indicated you are not trained in yet. However, Mr. Boniface is quite capable of paying above the usual rate, and, well, you are due 500 credits tonight alone."
Sunshine fixes Auntie May with an absolutely hateful glare. This is a glare of several years more experience of this woman's manipulation. Leans in closer, blows out a puff of smoke in her face, goes, "Of course, Auntie. Anything for you."
Her eye twitches and she stands up and she presses a little bell on her desk and says, "Such a good girl, Sunshine. I will remind you to hand over the correct amount of your earnings before you leave tonight." And you know that that bell means that a room is being made ready, and she gestures towards the door and says, "Now hurry along. We don't want to keep our guests waiting."
Of course not, Auntie.
And
See you soon.
as you leave, as you get up to leave, the room around you sort of takes on the look of if you were a fly, like a fly eye. It sort of cracks into a series of little segments. Her face, that perfect face, cracks, and everything sort of scatters and swirls about like, again, pieces in a chandelier. And you spin and you spin and you spin. You're swirling, and as you're swirling and all of these disparate pieces are showing, again, flashes of things you barely remember, things that you do remember but have chosen to not remember. You see again the figure, sort of the shape of that figure again being formed by these crystals, and it looks to you again without eyes, or at least eyes of its own. And it says,
Do you see clearer now?
See what? What do you want me to see? Worst decisions I've ever made? Or that were made for me?
would Sunshine like to roll some sort of insight?
Sure, can do. Insight.
So you're trying to judge intent, the dweller upon the threshold.
Yes, that's what it's called in this game. Judge intentions.
Mm-hmm.
2 hits.
The dweller is... You've not looked at any being like this ever before, with its many faces or parts of faces. Some of them, the expressions don't even match. You think it wants something from you, but you're just not quite sure what.
Okay, Spirit, what do you want me to tell you? Do you want me to go back in time, do things differently?
I do not want anything. You still do not see the pattern.
And it all begins to break apart again. The spirit dissipates, and you're swirling and swirling. And then you start to see, again, a series of lights. This time they're in squares of light. Or is that quite right? No, they're circles, they're squares, they're circles, they're squares. They're both. And you realize that you, as your dizziness starts to come back to a manageable place, you're looking at circular light bulbs in a square around a mirror. And you're in a space you once again recognize. You're in a sort of resting room, waiting room. Around you, as you're looking around, you see that there are lots of chairs, lots of makeup mirrors. There's makeup everywhere, but it's not just makeup. On the shelves around, there are maybe tens and tens, or at least maybe up to 100 bottles of mouthwash. And there's also tubes of lubricant. There's pills that you remember, antibiotics. And even on one corner, there's a vial of Botox. This is a place where everybody works to be exactly what is required of them. And as you're sitting still, somebody comes in, somebody you recognize, and she pauses, takes a swig of mouthwash, swills it round, and spits it out into a receptacle that was clearly intended for the purpose. And she looks up and goes, "Lola, haven't seen you in a while."
Hey, darling, it's been a hot minute.
You recognize that this is Amber, but you know that Amber isn't her real name. Her real name is Emma.
How you doing, Amber?
Not too bad. I hear you've got some gossip to tell me. And she plunks herself down in the seat next to you and lights up a smoke. It's awfully familiar. It's another one of those relaxing cigarettes. Most of the girls smoke them. And she's twirling her perfectly curated hair. You definitely know that's not her original hair. It's far too perfect. It actually looks like strings of metal coming out of her head.
Yeah, that's cyberware.
So go on. You've got a new fancy Jane, haven't you?
You never keep anything secret in here, can you?
No! I heard it from Sadie. She says she's a big roller. Has he going out most weeks?
Not sure she's a big ruler, just for impulse control.
Oh, they're the best. You just keep them on the hook as long as you can, and you've got the moolah. Oh, look at you catching a big fish.
Something like that, but she's, different, you know? Well,
French.
yeah, of course she's different. She's a Jane.
Uh-huh.
But, okay, if we go beyond the obvious, she's... Look, I know we're not supposed to get attached, you know, but... And, you know, it's usually pretty easy not to, but she's... Do you ever think that, you know, occasionally a client actually sees who you are?
See who you are, darling. Oh, but who are you showing her? I mean, come on. And she kind of flicks the cigarette and ash goes everywhere, and she gestures to the Botox. She goes, "Darling, in here, everybody's as fake as these eyelashes. Who are you really showing her, though? I mean, you're not showing her." And you see her eyes take on a bit of a mean streak. And you remember that Amber was always up to something. You're not really showing her who you really are. You know, somebody with a mountain of debt and a lot of things to pay off and will do anything to get back to where you need to be.
You got a point to make there, Emma.
Point? And you see there's a flash of anger at the use of her non-working name. No point, darling. I just don't want you to get the wrong idea. I want you to play it smart, babe. Like, remember, these people, they're not really here for us. Like, obviously, they're going to say anything under the sun to get you to lick their taco the right way. But, like, even girls. I mean, look at who we work with. Girls are fucking bitches. Remember, You gotta get that brain working. You want to keep her on the hook, love. Let her think she knows you. Let yourself think you know her. All that matters is that you've hit the gold mine, darling. And I mean, some would say, and she looks at her nails very pettily, you kind of fell into that one. You lucked into that. Other girls have been working hard for that kind of consistent client. Don't waste what you've got. Milk her for all it's worth.
Sure thing, Amber.
Now, can you get my hair, darling? It's just been a bit of a problem. Like, I just get the back of this. You're so good with it. You're always so good.
Sunshine sighs and just reaches for a brush, because, yeah, she knows exactly where the brushes are. Because you got another light on you, asking for a cigarette.
Yeah, always got one for you, love. You do all the little jobs nobody wants to do. And the room begins to sparkle and dazzle and fade again. So the world is spinning and swirling, and the dweller comes back again. And this time it doesn't even say anything, just tilts its head, for lack of a better word, in your direction.
What do you want me to say? Oh wait, no, you're just gonna say, I don't want anything, I'm infinite, I'm eternal, blah blah blah. Okay. So what answer do you want? What do you want? What am I supposed to have learned from this? That living in that world for 3.5 years was way too long, that it's left me with a whole bunch of unresolved bulldreck. It's left a whole bunch of unspoken stuff with my girlfriend. What do you want me to say?
It shimmers like it was on a piece of fabric, a sequined fabric that somebody had shaken.
Look
And it roils.
closely
Look
outside
closely.
of the small
outside
box that you have
The
built
small
inside
box
your
that
head.
you have built inside
Look with
your head.
experience.
Look with
Look at
experience.
yourself.
Look at yourself. And then it shimmers again, it changes, and the sequins glitter and turn. And now you're standing in a street where, for once in a very long time, it's a sunny day, and the light is from reflecting off all the windows. And you're standing outside a very familiar house. A house that you nearly lost. A house that would have no longer been your home if dear old Auntie May hadn't come along and paid off all the rent debts that you had here.
I look up at the sunny sky, go, I know you're still watching this, Spirit. You've got a sick fucking sense of humour. And I go up and I knock on my mum's front door.
Inside you hear a clanging and a clattering and shuffling hurried footsteps, and a woman slightly older opens the door, and she looks up at you, and it is your mother. And the look she has in her face is one that you are also extremely familiar with. There's a hardness to the mouth and eyes that you would, maybe with distance, maybe with time, you are now starting to see more nuance in those eyes, but you, being in the shape you are now, the space you are now, you just, all you remember is the blankness, this strange look of disconnection. And she looks at you, gives a slight once up and down look, completely assessing, and says, took your time, and turns around and shuffles back towards the kitchen.
I walk in after her. Oh, hey, Mum. It's great to see you too. How are things? You keeping in touch with Dan? Oh, no, wait, he left you.
There's a very bad clang. You can see that your mother was moving the pot and has banged it down hard into the sink. sending some soapy water flying everywhere. She doesn't even look at you at that point. She just scrubs the pot very vigorously. She makes half a gesture towards the table, and you can see that every inch of her is seething with this barely contained rage.
So, yeah, Sunshine's gonna continue with the pretending to play nice Bulldrek. So, how are the neighbours? How are things with knitting club?
At the mention of neighbours, she turns round, and you see a flash of... Is that fear? No, you've never seen your mother afraid. But maybe? And she snaps out, the neighbours have been putting their noses somewhere they don't belong, and not without good reason. Do you know what kind of visitors have been turning up on my doorstep?
Yes.
Do you? Do you really? Do you understand how my reputation is on barely table ice right now? I do not need your friends turning up here and making accusations and demands.
Oh, so this is my fault now, is it? Your deadbeat boyfriend runs out on you.
He was not my boyfriend, he was your father, my husband. You will address him as such.
No, I don't think I will. Because, you know, being a dad means actually being there for you. So, yeah, he's not.
Your father is not the point of discussion right now. What is the point of discussion is you bringing disrepute onto this house. And you see that her hands are actually... If you were to look down, she's completely still everywhere else. But her hand, the one that's gripping the sink, is shaking quite badly. And there's a rawness to the skin there. And she continues, you are not to do that. You are never to make us look weak or shameful in public. You do not understand the danger that you are putting everybody in this house in.
Don't I?
If you did understand...
Why do you think I'm doing this?
I don't know, some strange need to punish me for I don't know what. Some need to make this a bad situation far worse.
Oh my god. Can you please just can it with your endless melodrama, mother?
Melodrama? I knew that going to that school was the first mistake. How can you not understand that we live in a society that could just as easily turn around and turf us out on the streets? We have to maintain a certain level of image. Everything hangs on that, and you running around making a trollop of yourself is going to bring entirely the wrong kind of attention.
Do you really not know, or are you just being willfully ignorant right now?
What do I not know?
I don't think you actually know. Do you think this is all gesturing down at my, like, very obviously sex worker outfit?
She winces.
Do you think I did this for fun? Do you think this is the career path that I was so desperate to get into?
I don't know what turned your head. I don't know why you let this happen to yourself. I thought that I'd instilled enough sensible fear into you.
Well, you were married to the reason. Yeah.
You don't know.
Yeah. When he ran off and he left all those bragging gambling debts and bragging everything else behind, his former employers, the Yakuza, decided they needed to get their money back, didn't they? So don't you act all high and mighty with me, Mrs. Sato.
There's a horrible pause, and then she slaps you quite hard on the face. And she says, you will never understand what I have had to do to keep you fed, clothed, to keep you safe. What your father did. was acceptable because he was a man. Why can't you understand that what we do will always be judged far more harshly than what they do?
Hey, I'm so glad we had this chat, Mother. Now, if that's all, I'll see you again in, I don't know, 3 years, and we can do this all over again. It'll be great fun. Bye. And I head for the door.
As you leave, you hear the sound of some breaking glass. And as you reach for the door handle, there's another swirl and your world cracks as well, almost in tandem with that breaking glass. And you were whisked up into airless space. And all that familiarity, the shards, it's almost as if they're now starting to reflect not just the world around you, but the emotions inside you. This visualization of... Actually, would you tell me some of the things that Sunshine is feeling now?
Vindication? I think it's one of the big ones that this experience is giving her a chance to go back through and say things to people that she's been wanting to say for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And particularly with people like her mother, who you could never have a discussion with, you could only ever have a blazing row with.
Mm-hmm.
And actually having given the nature of this out-of-body experience, which is getting to go around these experiences for a second time, there's a sort of certain vicious satisfaction, but also underlying that there was a hell of a lot of pain.
And again, the swirling glass shards move into the approximation of a human face, and you recognize the mask that the Dweller has been wearing to speak to you. And everything about its movements, it's not the way a human moves, that without thinking automatically. You can tell that every movement is a choice, a decision, a communication. And
Things are not going
it says,
the way
things
they
are not going
did the
the
first
way they
time around.
did the first time around.
I'm sorry, were you wanting a
You
reenactment?
noticing?
Are you noticing?
Notice what?
Hmm.
That you're showing me all the fragged up shit from my short,
Somebody-
unhappy life?
So reflective.
Somebody,
You are
so
remarkably
you are
uninterested
remarkably
in what is going on
uninterested
inside yourself.
in what is going on inside yourself.
And why do you think
Why do
that
you?
is?
Think that is.
Why do you think that is?
A little thing called a survival mechanism. Because I've had to get back up and dust myself off so many times. It's easier to stop thinking and feeling about yourself and just getting on with what needs done. Is this really so surprising in the sixth world?
The fifth,
The sixth
the
world,
first.
the fifth.
Humans are always the
first.
same.
Humans
They
are always
always
the same.
Place
They always
survival so
place
highly.
survival
yet-
so highly.
They never seem to
And yet-
notice
They never
very
seem to notice
clear
very
line
clear
between
line,
a survival
between
strategy
a
and
survival
a
strategy
self-destructive one.
and a self-destructive one.
Okay. Is that the great words of wisdom you've got for us all as a species? That maybe our coping mechanisms aren't completely healthy?
Face ripples, and it loses even more of its
I am merely
human-like
observing.
qualities.
I have
am
no
merely
words
observing.
of wisdom for you.
I have no
I do
words
not
of wisdom
care.
for you.
I do not
I do
hope.
not care.
I am
I do
merely
not
here
hope.
to
I
see
am
whether
merely
you
here
can
to see whether
survive.
you can survive.
Okay then. Observe. Do whatever fragged up things you decide you want to do with me?
It's so interesting that you think
It's so
that
interesting
I'm
that you
doing this
think
to you.
that I'm doing this to you.
Nice bit of pop psychology you got there. Pretty sure I've seen the magazine you got it out of.
When you say magazine, the face flourishes and ripples again, and the sparkling glass swirls and swirls. And this time, the pieces are a little bit bigger every now and again. One will float past, and on magazine, you actually do see a magazine. You recognize it. It was branded for teen girls, but you were reading it a little bit younger. But then again, the makers of these magazines know that. You're lying on a bed, not yours, in a room that is very familiar and again, not yours. And you see a hand turn the page and point to an unrealistically beautiful woman and pointing and saying, I just think she's absolutely gorgeous. What do you think? Do you think she's got implants or something? Cyberware? I mean, it can't be natural, right? And as the mirror flicks, it turns just like a perspective, an eye, and you see a young girl with beautiful braids in her hair, and she's looking at you with familiarity and a very big, radiant, welcoming smile. One that maybe that was the first time you saw it on someone's face genuinely. Maybe it was the last for a long time after, and that piece swirls again past, and another big one appears like a massive snowflake hurling towards a windscreen. And this time you can see a bit more of the picture. You can see yourself walking along a cracked pavement, and then just up on the side of there's a little stone wall, and walking along that wall next to you is again that same girl. She's a little bit older, and you're both wearing the same sort of mandatory school uniform, and she's walking along that wall in a sort of the way that people who try and make the most out of every moment of life do, just trying to grab an experience while it could possibly be there. And she's looking down at you and complaining and saying, I can't believe they're not giving us another break for that test. I mean, you would think that somebody bringing weapons into the school would mean that we could get a break from it. What do you think?
Things we used to worry about.
And she smiles and she reaches out for your hand, and you can see that she's wittering on about schoolwork. But in those conversations about nothing, you felt that somebody was actually trying to see you. Somebody genuinely cared, and maybe that was an uncomfortable feeling. Maybe it was welcome, or maybe it could be different things at different times. But that hand in yours, it didn't want anything from you. It didn't need anything from you. She was just there because she wanted to be. And then the piece again whirls past. And then this time, there's another one coming in. And you see you're sitting on a park bench. And again, you're older. Maybe was this towards the end of high school? And she's leaning back against the bench and looking at you and saying, everyone keeps saying I should go into some kind of engineering post, but I just don't. It feels so. Oh, I don't know. It just feels so like something my dad would want. I don't know what do you want from us? Everything is going so freaking strangely right now, and the world is changing. I feel like, and our parents, they're stuck in these old ways of success, but the things they thought were successful just aren't anymore. And sometimes I mean, you know what I mean, right? What do you even want to do? I genuinely, what do you want?
A lot of things. And somehow I look her in the eyes. Somehow I got this funny feeling I ain't gonna get them.
Alexis, a name that maybe you hadn't thought of, or maybe you'd been trying not to think of for a while. She looks at you dead seriously, and she says, "Babe, just fuck 'em." They're all thinking about the future, right? Well, fuck that. We've got the rest of our lives to be old and miserable. Let's just try and be here now, okay? Let's just
Okay.
try and have a good time.
I lean in for a cuddle.
Yeah. She wraps her arms around you, and you sit on that bench, and it's a really lovely evening in a part of town where lovely evenings go by completely unnoticed.
Yeah.
And this glass shard swirls away, and now they all start coming together again. They start piecing back together, and you're looking at the back door of the place that you work. All the paint and the glamour and the beauty within this alluring space, that's absent here. It's all very functional. It's black paint, it's exposed piping, because who's going to care? The punters aren't coming back here. And you feel a tightness. You feel your body getting ready for something. And you look down at your phone and you see a text from Alexis. And it says, "I'm outside. Please, please come out."
I text back, "Lexi, what do you want?"
You see the dancing dots come up again. And then, in a very hurried way, very short text that could have been one long text, but it's in that panicked way that when people are trying to quickly convey something. "Come outside, please. I need to speak to you. I'm worried. Please let me in."
On Alexis's phone, again, the dancing dots. I mean, okay, hang on. Need to let people know where I'm going. So I have a quick word with one of the bouncers and I pass Mike, the barman, on the way out. "Hey Mike, just popping out for like 2 minutes. Back shortly."
"Yeah, sure thing, no worries." He waves. You know Mike a lot better at this point. And there's a moment of, tonight's not been a good night. In fact, there's been quite a few problems. And you can see Mike's keeping things under control face.
So yeah, open the door. I'm gonna say it's chucking it down, raining outside. Your bus goes past and throws a lot of water onto the pavement. It goes, "Hey Lexi, sorry, it's... What do you need?"
Alexis is dressed like a young 20-something. She's all flash. No clue what her own taste is yet. It's a patchwork. And she's standing there trying to hide from the rain under a really broken awning in this sort of slightly to the side back alley area. And she looks up from her phone as if she was waiting for another text from you. She beckons you forward and goes, "Babe, I haven't heard from you for days. Why? Okay, I'm really sorry. I know you didn't want... I assume you didn't want me to know, otherwise you would have told me and you wouldn't have been so secretive. And I'm sorry that I followed you here, but I need... I just wanted to make sure you were okay."
Oh, for fuck's sake. Look, Lexi, am I okay? No, not really. Gestures down at my outfit. It has a truly awful number of sequins on it. what do you want me to tell you? You know about Dan. You know he ran off. You know about the debts left behind.
She nods. She was there. Even when you didn't have the words to say what was going on, Lexi was there.
Lexi, I'm sorry about this, okay? It's...
Wait, why are you apologising? And she kind of holds out. She kind of goes to take one of your hands, and just, I didn't come here to make you feel like you were doing something bad or wrong. I just didn't want you to feel like you had to hide anything. I didn't.
Hey, you're... Yeah, thanks. You're the first one who said that. Mum is taking it about as well as she takes anything, really. And, you know, on top of the deadbeat walking out on her, you know, it's just... I don't know how to talk about this stuff.
I get that. And you don't have... But sometimes there's nothing to say. Just... Amy, I just want you to know that you don't have to hide this, and not for me, and I'm not gonna... Fuck, you shouldn't have to be dealing with any of this dreck. It's so fucked up, but you're not fucked up, and I just want you to have somewhere you can come, somewhere you can go. If I could make it all go away, I would. But I just want to know that you never stand up for yourself. You're always trying to think about other people first, and I just want to make sure that you know that it's okay for you to put yourself first sometimes, alright?
Yeah. You. Yeah. Big hugs.
Yeah. As you hug, you hear somebody else open the door, and you turn around, and it's the bouncer that you had passed, that you'd let know where you were going, and he's clearly come out to check that what's going on here.
Yeah, okay, I'm going, okay. Like, Lexi, I gotta go, okay? Oh.
Lexi, she looks up, she looks at the guy, and she's not stupid. She recognises that this is a dangerous situation. And she doesn't let go of your hand immediately. She sort of gives it a squeeze. You can tell there's a lot trying to be said through that she can't find words to say. And the bouncer goes forward and politely but very firmly says, "Miss, you are distracting our workers. You need to leave now." And Lexi, she looks up at him and she goes, "Listen, I'm not trying to cause trouble. I just wanted... I was just checking on a friend." And he says, "A friend? How much are you aware... How do you know this person now? What are you trying to do here?" And there's a switch. There's a switch because she said the word friend.
Lexi, time to go.
Yeah. Wait, no, I'm not trying to cause trouble. I was just coming to check on Amy. I'll be going... And she used your real name. And the bouncer takes another step forward and says, "You are not welcome here. Sunshine does not need your help, and she does not need some nosy," and he says a very rude word, "getting in the way of her business. She understands what she's doing, and if you keep turning up around here, there's going to be trouble. This isn't the first time I've seen you round here." And Lexi is starting to back up now, and he is continuing to step towards her.
Okay, I tug on his arm. Okay, enough. She's leaving. Okay, I'm going back inside. You got what you wanted.
He shakes you off quite roughly, and at this point he's got Lexi not into a corner. She could duck out into the side street, but he's pushed her very far back against one of the walls, and he says very calmly, but with absolutely clear intent, never come back round here again. If you know what's good for you, if you know what's good for... And then he says Lexi's mum's name. And you see the blood drain from her face, and she acts on seeming instinct. She reaches out and she pushes at him, maybe wanting space, maybe because he actively just threatened her mother, but she goes to push him away, and he hits her, and he sends her flying out into the street outside of the alleyway. And then he turns around and starts ushering you back towards the building.
Frag you, chummer.
You've been told before, no family, no friends.
Frag you.
This is on you, Sunshine.
Yeah, what are you gonna do? Hit the merchandise?
He takes a firm grip on your arm and leads you back inside. Do you look back at Lexi?
I do, yeah.
You see her getting to her feet, and for the first time, you see fear when she looks at you. And you don't have time maybe to interrogate if that's fear of you, fear for you, but she looks afraid.
As soon as, like, the door slams, Sunshine is, like, full on, like... I mean, she's, like, being quite forcefully marched back to... yeah, backstage, if we want to call it that. But it's full on, like, wobbly bottom lip. Seriously trying to hold it together, but really not doing a good job of it right now.
And the world begins to crack around you again. But just before it does, you remember a conversation that happened later, that happened with Auntie. And you hear her say, "Honestly, Sunshine, we give you a little leeway and you just make too many mistakes. You'll be escorted to and from work from now on. Remember, this is a dangerous line of work. We don't want any bystanders getting hurt, do we?"
I lean forward. I'm in the chair in her office again. I've got one of those fragging cigarettes lit already. And lean in close and puff out smoke. "Of course not, Auntie. You're too kind." And just give her the most fucking shit-eating grin and just absolute dagger eyes of obviously not saying this, but those eyes are saying, "I fantasized about killing you more than once."
And it swirls, and it swirls, and instead of just fragments this time, you're surrounded by actual mirrors. Mirrors from all these different places. The ornate one from Auntie's office flashes by, and you see yourself in that scene. You're looking right at yourself. And then another one goes by. It's a makeup mirror, that light up makeup mirror from the back room. You're looking at yourself again. And then as you go by again, you see the kitchen mirror from your mother's house. You see yourself again. It whizzes past. And the final one, you see a black window from that back street. And you see yourself reflected in that black window. It's all you. You're looking at yourself as you swirl around. And instead of saying what you said this time, you're saying the things you said back then. Acquiescing. Letting others talk down to you. Let them put you beneath them in terms of the pecking order. Swirling around and around and around. All these things you said. These younger versions of yourself. What do you feel towards them?
Regret, sadness, anger. There's a lot of things in Amy's life that she never chose. But there were other times when she perhaps did have a choice. It wasn't an easy one to do the right thing, but instead she did the quiet thing, the easy thing, not the right thing. And deep, deep regret for the person she could have been had life worked out differently.
As those thoughts of self-recrimination come up, here again, but this time it's not your voice. You hear Auntie saying, careless. And then your mother coming in and saying, how could you do this? How could you do this to us? You hear your co-worker saying, at the end of the day, they don't see us as anything more than trash. It starts to make you think you are trash. And again, these other voices just reinforcing those thoughts you had back then. And again, just bringing it back. But one of them is different. You hear Alexis's voice saying, just be here now. Just be here now with me. Doesn't matter what they think. Future, past, who cares? You're you, I'm me. That's all you have to be. And it's faint, and it's covered by all these voices reinforcing what you think about yourself. Reinforcing that self-hatred that was given to you, but you have been keeping going. Blaming yourself for what happened.
As this weighs down on Sunshine like the rock of ages, this hundredweight of despair landing on her, and then just hearing Alexis's voice just almost being drowned out by everything else. That's like the one last branch that she's holding on to right now. So it's almost being swept away by this tide, and in this dark void that she's currently in between metaplanes, hangs on to that one voice and then just shouts into the void, "No, enough!"
The mirrors stop. You can see you're still in there. You can still see yourself in those mirrors. But the voices aren't screaming anymore. What do you see? What do you see when you look at those young girls?
The path I could have taken, maybe, just maybe, so I can't change my past. It's too late to go back and fix some mistakes. I can at least choose differently going forward.
Mirrors all come together as one. And there's another version of you, younger, you from the past. All of those cares, those worries that other people put on you, all that responsibility. You were just a kid. I've done that to you. She's standing in front of you. She looks so lost. There's nobody there for her. What do you do?
So I'm imagining this younger version of myself I'm seeing is almost like this wouldn't work in like actual real Euclidean space, but she's like several different ages all at the same time. I see her as a very young girl, not getting the attention she needed, the endless fights at home, the smashed plates, the slammed doors, the her at school with Alexis, and then going into her early 20s and getting drawn into the very dark world of sex work and everything that cost her. And Sunshine then goes up to Amy, who's several ages all at once. It goes, "I'm sorry, kid. Maybe I should have been there for you." And I lean in and hug myself.
And you feel that hug. It's not just a memory. You're there for yourself. She needs you. And now you're older. You're stronger. And you have all the experience she didn't have. And you feel her relax for maybe the first time ever. And she leans into you. And then she starts to glitter. All that light goes back inside you. And when it feels right, when you feel the moment has come, you look up and you're once again back on that threshold with no way to go back, only forward. And this tall, cracked, impossibly
are
refractive figure
you?
in front of you, looking down. Who are you?
I'm Amy, and I'm Sunshine, and Amy. We're... No one ever seems... 3 letters, and no one seems to be able to decide how to pronounce my name. I'm both of them. I'm me. I am far too many fragged up memories for the age that I am. I am my experiences. I am my own lessons, my own pains, and I am done with this place. And you're going to let me go back. Because I've got things I need to do.
The figure shimmers, and it lifts its cloak out to either side and transforms the gateway into an arch, and the last vestiges of any trace of humanity that it put on to communicate with you are completely gone. There's only the way forward.
I start walking.
The Tops Company Inc. has granted permission to the Pride Against Prejudice podcast to use such names, logos, artwork, marks, and/or any other proprietary material for promotional and informational purposes on its website, but does not endorse and is not affiliated with the Pride Against Prejudice podcast in any official capacity whatsoever. All other works mentioned in this podcast remain the property of their respective owners. The Pride Against Prejudice podcast is licensed under a Creative Commons Attribution 4.0 license, so if you wish to use any part of the show, please give us the credit. All music and sound effects are credited in the show notes.